Hi, my name is Mateusz Dobrychłop, and in this video, I would like to talk about my submission for the Kaggle competition called Google Gemini Long Context. Now, to give you some background, Google has recently released a new generation of their large language model, Gemini. The new generation is called Gemini 1.5. And what is very impressive about this new generation of models is that they offer a context window of up to 2 million tokens, which is a huge increase compared to the previously available popular large language models. Now, another very impressive thing about Gemini 1.5 is that while working with a context of that size, Gemini 1.5 can retrieve information from that context with the accuracy of over 99%. Now, the main purpose of my competition notebook was to explore the idea of an AI assistant that can recognize underlying user needs from a conversation and retrieve relevant details from a very large dataset of personal records. So let's say you're having a chat with an AI assistant that has access to a big dataset of your daily records, such as to-do lists, journal entries, and other notes. And you've been collecting that dataset for a couple of years. And then in one of the notes from 3 years ago, you mentioned that your friend Mary is allergic to strawberries. Now, as the Google DeepMind team demonstrated, if the assistant is based on Gemini and you ask it, is Mary allergic to strawberries, then it will almost certainly come back with a correct answer. But what if in your message you say something like, I invited Mary over today and I'm planning to bake a strawberry cake? The aim of my exploration is to see how reliably the assistant will warn you about Mary's allergy and similar scenarios. The first part of my notebook focuses on a systematic exploration or evaluation of Gemini's abilities to do that. So in order to verify these capabilities, I used Gemini to create a synthetic dataset of realistic daily records for a fictional person called Eleanor. And that dataset contained 4 years of daily records. So that's a bit over 500,000 tokens in that specific case, which means basically that this kind of exercise would not be possible to perform using other LLMs. I basically had to use Gemini 1.5. Then I crafted 50 notes similar to the strawberry scenario, and I distributed them over the automatically created dataset. Then for each scenario, I designed an indirect question and then defined what piece of information I expect the model to proactively retrieve from the context. Then I created and executed an evaluation function that loops over the scenarios and counts how many times the model figured out what content it should retrieve from the dataset stored in the cached context. Caching of the context is actually very important as it drastically reduces the cost and the time of each interaction with the model. And for each scenario, I gave the model 3 chances to give the right answer. What is also important to note is that for the analysis, I used the Gemini 1.5 Pro model. The result of that evaluation was that for 72% of the scenarios, the model recognized the underlying need correctly and returned the expected content at least once, so at least one of the 3 attempts. Now, this result, I think, is very promising, and it's evidence that Gemini 1.5 can be used to build assistants that really look out for the user, or in other words, have their backs. The second part of the notebook is what I would say is a fun part of the notebook, where I implemented a little AI toy, which is a chat app that you can use to test different prompts and see how the assistant performs depending on the way you formulate your questions. You can use the default dataset that I used for the structured analysis, or you can upload your own dataset of records. You can also configure the assistant personality, communication style, values, or even base its behavior on a famous person or a fictional character. So if you go to Kaggle, copy and execute the part of the notebook that's describing the AI chat, you can play with it yourself. Before you do that, you have to get a Gemini API key that you can generate for free on Google AI's website. I had a lot of fun developing the notebook. Hopefully you can have some fun using the chat and the testing stuff for yourself. Thank you so much for watching.